Have you ever woken up in the morning and instead of feeling refreshed, you find your body heavy, as if it carried the weight of an endless night? Every step feels slow. Every movement feels like a struggle with yourself. You wonder what has stolen the excitement that should naturally come with the start of a new day. The answer is not simply that you slept less or worked too hard. It lies deeper within the silent operations of your body. Inside you are tiny engines that never stop working. And when they are not fueled in the right way, exhaustion begins to spread quietly. It starts as tiredness, then turns into sluggishness, then into subtle aches you cannot explain. These are secret signals from a system out of balance, signals that most of us ignore. What is strange is that the key to restore that strength is not far away. It does not come from an expensive medicine, and it is not hidden in complicated formula. It is not locked away in a modern laboratory. It exists right in your familiar kitchen. Two small things, ordinary to the eye, but if you know how to use them, they can make your body strong as iron. The question is why these two simple things hold such power. How they are connected to the delicate functions of bones, muscles, blood, and nerves. And why modern science is only beginning to uncover what our ancestors have quietly known for so long. If you stay with me until the end of this journey, you will see a door open where two humble dried foods become the key to health and vitality. Do you want to discover this secret? Be patient, because only by keeping your curiosity until the end will you truly feel the hidden power that nature has silently prepared for us. When the body begins to whisper, most of us do not listen. A little heaviness in the legs, a faint ache in the joints, a restless night of sleep, we often brush them off as ordinary signs of fatigue. Yet beneath these small discomforts, a deeper story is unfolding, one that science has only recently begun to unravel. The body is a magnificent orchestra, every system tuned to play in harmony. But when even one instrument falls out of rhythm, the entire melody changes. What you may not realize is that the true thief of energy is not age itself, but the imbalance that creeps in silently. Inside every cell, a process called oxidative stress quietly eats away at strength. Free radicals accumulate, damaging proteins, lipids, and even the DNA that carries the instructions for life. Without the right defenders, this invisible battle continues day after day, leaving behind exhaustion, fragile muscles, and a mind clouded by forgetfulness. There is also the slow erosion of micronutrients. Minerals like calcium and magnesium that build our bones are drained by poor diet and stress. Vitamins that nourish nerves and sharpen memory are lost in the rush of daily living. Hormones that once gave us balance swing unpredictably, leaving behind irritability, sleeplessness, and a restless heart. Digestion, which should be the foundation of health, falters under processed foods, creating gas, heaviness, and an inner fire of acidity. These are not separate problems. They are signals from a body calling for rescue. Science now confirms what ancient wisdom has always hinted at. Energy is not just physical, it is biochemical, emotional, and even spiritual. When you feel tired without reason, when you wake up drained even after sleep, when pain lingers in the joints or muscles, it is rarely a single cause. It is the sum of deficiencies, imbalances, and silent inflammations building over years. Like a clock running without oil, the gears grind slowly until the mechanism loses its power. Yet here lies the paradox. We search for cures in bottles lined with shiny labels. We invest in treatments that promise quick results. Still, the fatigue returns. Perhaps the truth is not in what is new or expensive, but in what is overlooked. The body does not always require complex solutions. Sometimes it needs only to be reminded of the simple gifts that have always been within reach. So when you feel your strength fading, do not dismiss it as an unavoidable consequence of age. See it instead as a message, a call to rediscover what your cells crave. For hidden within the ordinary are the extraordinary answers. Nature has left clues scattered in the most familiar places. Two small foods, simple and humble, yet powerful enough to restore the balance your body is desperately asking for. There is a paradox in the way we search for vitality. We believe that power must come from what is rare, expensive, or exotic, Yet history shows us again and again that nature often hides its treasures in plain sight. The principle is simple. Foods that appear ordinary can carry within them compounds of extraordinary effect. Modern science calls them functional foods because they do more than satisfy hunger. They protect, repair, and energize the very systems that keep us alive. Inside these simple foods are proteins that become the building blocks of muscle, enzymes, and hormones. There are minerals that strengthen the bones and guide nerve signals across the body. There are antioxidants that shield our cells from free radicals and slow the aging of tissues. These elements are not luxuries, they are necessities. Without them, the machine of life cannot perform with grace. With them, the body reclaims balance, clarity, and strength. What makes the story mysterious is how such small foods create such wide ripples. A handful of dried fruit, a cluster of seeds or nuts. These are not elaborate meals yet. Their effect is profound. They enter the bloodstream, carrying calcium to bones, iron to red blood cells, and magnesium to nerves. They restore what has been quietly lost through stress and poor diet. Like keys turning in hidden locks, they activate processes that the body had placed in silence. Ancient cultures intuited this truth. In temples and villages, simple dried foods were valued not just for preservation, but for vitality. Warriors carried them on journeys. Monks relied on them during fasting. Mothers gave them to children for strength. Today, science reveals what tradition always suspected: polyphenols, flavonoids, amino acids, natural fibers. These are the codes written inside ordinary foods that sustain extraordinary health. When we eat them at the right time, in the right way, their potential multiplies. Soaking them, pairing them, consuming them on an empty stomach, these practices are not superstition but practical wisdom. They awaken dormant nutrients, allowing the body to absorb them with greater ease. What seems like a ritual is in fact a science hidden in plain sight. The lesson is that strength does not always come from complexity. It often comes from returning to simplicity with awareness. To see food not as a habit of filling hunger, but as a dialogue with the body. To understand that two small foods, common and humble, may carry the silent power to renew blood, nerve, and muscle. That is the principle we must hold before stepping into the secrets that follow. Among the countless foods scattered across our kitchens, one stands almost invisible in its simplicity. The peanut, small, common, often overlooked, yet within it lies a treasury of strength that science is only beginning to respect. When you hold a handful of peanuts, you do not see luxury, you see an everyday snack. But beneath the thin shell rests a structure designed by nature to rebuild bones, nourish nerves, and awaken the resilience that time tries to erode. Peanuts are rich in calcium, the mineral that frames our skeleton and secures every step we take. Without calcium, bones weaken, teeth lose firmness, joints ache with stiffness. Alongside calcium is magnesium, a mineral that does more than strengthen bone. Magnesium orchestrates the absorption of calcium, making sure it does not wander aimlessly but settles into the structures where it belongs. Together they form a shield against frailty, allowing the body to stand tall against the wear of age. Yet peanuts do not stop there. Inside them are vitamins that whisper to the nervous system. Vitamin B1 and B6 guide the transmission of signals across neurons, sharpening memory, improving focus, reducing tremors. Vitamin E, a potent antioxidant, clears away free radicals that cloud the mind and damage delicate tissues. With every handful, you are not only feeding muscles, you are repairing the invisible circuits that allow thought, sensation, and movement to flow. Science confirms what the body feels. Zinc in peanuts strengthens immunity. Iron supports red blood cells. Potassium balances fluid and pressure. Proteins, the very bricks of life, rebuild muscle fibers and enzymes that drive metabolism. Healthy fats, though small in quantity, nourish cells and sustain energy over hours. Each component works silently, but together they create a tonic more profound than any expensive supplement. For those who suffer from digestive troubles, peanuts carry fibers that stabilize the system. They ease constipation, support healthy bacteria, and ensure nutrients are absorbed rather than wasted. When the stomach is calm, the entire body feels lighter. When digestion flows, 90% of health returns naturally. This is why a humble nut can restore energy more effectively than a bottle of pills. The mystery deepens when we prepare peanuts with care. Soaking them overnight softens their fibers and activates hidden enzymes. This simple act releases nutrients that otherwise remain locked, making them more available to the body. What seems ordinary is in fact a transformation. Water awakens life within the nut, and when we consume it the next morning, we receive not only food but living energy. Consider the signs your body has given you: the creaking of joints, the weakness of grip, the fading sharpness of memory. These are not inevitable fates but reminders of deficiency. A daily ritual of peanuts can address them at the root. You do not need abundance, only a handful measured by the palm. Nature designs portions through instinct, not calculation. Too much overwhelms, too little neglects, but the palm offers balance. Even the skin, often discarded, contains antioxidants and fibers that contribute to vitality. To eat the peanut whole is to accept its full gift. Whether chewed slowly in the morning, blended into a smooth paste, or mixed into a salad, the result is the same. Strength flows quietly, layer by layer, into bones, nerves, and blood. The lesson of the peanut is one of humility. Power does not always announce itself with grandeur. Sometimes it hides in a shell so thin we barely notice. But if we listen closely, we discover a guardian of strength waiting to serve. And this is only the first secret. There is still another, even sweeter, even more mysterious, a partner to the peanut that completes the circle of renewal. If the peanut is the guardian of strength, then the raisin is the messenger of renewal. Small, wrinkled, often dismissed as nothing more than a dried grape, yet within its folds it carries the memory of sunlight, soil, and the slow patience of nature. When you place a raisin on your tongue, you are not only tasting sweetness, you are inviting into your body a cascade of minerals, antioxidants, and silent healers that reach every corner of your being. The raisin is abundant in potassium, the mineral that regulates the rhythm of the heart. Every beat, every pulse of blood through your veins depends on this balance. Without potassium, the heart stumbles, pressure rises, and the body feels restless. With potassium restored, the heart beats steady like a drum guiding the orchestra of life. Alongside potassium is iron, the essential element for building red blood cells. Without iron, fatigue lingers no matter how much you rest, because blood cannot carry oxygen to where it is needed. A handful of raisins each day begins to refill this well, giving back the vitality that seemed lost. Raisins are also rich in natural fibers that transform digestion, constipation, bloating, acidity. These are not small inconveniences, but signals of a system under strain. Fiber in raisins restores flow, cleanses the gut, and allows nutrients to be absorbed with greater efficiency. The result is not only comfort, but a release of energy. When the stomach is light, the body moves freely. And when digestion is balanced, the mind too feels clear. Hidden inside raisins are polyphenols, antioxidants that wage war against oxidative stress. They shield cells from the silent attacks of free radicals, delaying the marks of aging on skin and organs alike. Skin becomes more radiant, hair grows stronger, the face regains a youthful glow. These are not miracles, but the quiet work of molecules that protect and repair. Science reveals another mystery. When raisins are soaked overnight in water, their power multiplies. The water awakens dormant compounds, dissolves sugars into gentler forms, and prepares the fruit for easier digestion. By morning, what was once a simple dried grape becomes a potent tonic. Consumed on an empty stomach, it enters the bloodstream swiftly, offering nourishment without burden. What tradition taught through practice, research now confirms with evidence. Raisins also carry a calming influence on the mind. Those who suffer from restless nights, from thoughts that circle endlessly, often have imbalances in hormones and minerals. The natural sweetness of raisins, combined with their potassium and magnesium, soothes the nervous system, invites deeper sleep, and quiets mental storms. It is not sedation but restoration, a gentle reminder to the body that balance is possible. The effect of raisins is not only internal. On the outside, they give texture and vitality to hair. They nourish the scalp with iron and antioxidants. They bring elasticity to skin by supporting collagen. What cosmetic bottles attempt to mimic, nature has already perfected in these tiny wrinkled fruit. The measure is simple, not excessive. 10 to 11 raisins soaked overnight are enough to awaken their power. More is not necessary, less may be insufficient. Nature offers guidance in moderation, and the body responds best to balance. Taken each morning, they become a ritual, a daily act of renewal, as constant as the rising sun. The raisin teaches us that sweetness is not indulgence but medicine when consumed with wisdom. It shows that even what is small and humble can restore the flow of life within us. And when paired with the peanut, the effect becomes something greater than either can achieve alone. Together they form a union of strength and renewal, a simple duet that has the power to transform the body from the inside out. Alone, the peanut strengthens, the raisin renews. Together, they create something far greater than the sum of their parts. It is here that the mystery deepens, for when two simple foods combine, their powers intertwine in ways that science is only beginning to understand. This union is not just about nutrition, it is about harmony, about how balance in nature can mirror balance in the human body. The peanut delivers protein, the raw material for muscles, enzymes, and hormones. The raisin delivers iron, the element that builds blood and breathes oxygen into every cell. Protein without iron is like a builder without bricks. Iron without protein is like bricks without a builder. But when both arrive together, the body constructs strength with ease, laying foundations that resist the erosion of time. Magnesium and calcium from peanuts pair with potassium from raisins to form a trio that stabilizes nerves, strengthens bones, and regulates the beating of the heart. Each mineral has its own voice, but together they sing a song of balance. The nervous system calms, the skeleton hardens, and the heart maintains its steady rhythm. It is a reminder that health is not the work of a single nutrient, but the dialogue of many. There is also the matter of energy. The natural sugars of raisins provide quick fuel, lifting the fog of morning fatigue. The proteins and fats of peanuts release energy slowly, sustaining the body through hours of work. One gives the spark, the other keeps the fire alive. Without the spark, the fire never ignites. Without the fuel, it burns out too soon. Together, they create a steady flame, warm and enduring. The digestive system too benefits from their alliance. Fibers in raisins sweep the gut clean, while fibers and healthy fats in peanuts slow absorption, ensuring nutrients are not lost in haste. This balance prevents the spikes and crashes of energy that come from processed foods. Instead, there is a steady current, a flow that carries strength without turbulence. Modern research speaks of synergy, the phenomenon where two elements working together produce effects beyond what either could achieve alone. In ancient kitchens, this truth was practiced long before it was studied. To soak peanuts and raisins overnight, to consume them together at dawn, this was not accident. It was wisdom carried through generations, a ritual born of observation and intuition. Consider what this means for the body. Muscles no longer weaken so quickly, joints do not ache with the same intensity, sleep becomes deeper, the mind more focused. The body, once weighed down by fatigue, begins to rise again with lightness. And all this not from medicine or cost, but from two foods so humble they are often forgotten in the corner of a pantry. The mystery is not only in their nutrients, it is in the reminder they carry. That healing does not always require complexity. That the extraordinary can be hidden in the ordinary, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. The peanut offers strength, the raisin offers renewal, and together they whisper a secret older than memory. Health is born not from excess but from balance. This is the union, simple yet profound, a duet of earth and sun, of nut and fruit. And it is only by walking with patience into their secret that the body learns once again what it means to be strong, resilient, and alive. Knowledge without practice is like a locked chest whose treasures remain hidden. To awaken the full power of peanut and raisin, one must follow the golden rule of use. It is not enough to know what they contain. The secret lies in how they are prepared, when they are consumed, and in what measure they are taken. Nature has already designed the rhythm. We only need to follow it with patience. The first key is timing. Morning is when the body is most ready to receive. After a night of fasting, cells are open, enzymes are alert, and the digestive fire is gentle yet receptive. To eat soaked peanuts and raisins at this hour is to pour clear water into an empty vessel. Nutrients flow unimpeded, absorbed into blood and tissue with remarkable efficiency. Taken later in the day, when digestion is already burdened, the effect is dull. The second key is preparation. Both peanut and raisin carry more than meets the eye. When soaked in water overnight, they transform. Enzymes awaken, anti-nutrients that hinder absorption are dissolved, sugars in raisins soften, fibers in peanuts relax. What was once dormant becomes alive, ready to merge with the body. This simple act of soaking is not superstition, it is the science of unlocking what lies hidden. The third key is portion. Too often we believe that more means better, yet the body does not thrive on excess. The measure has always been simple. A handful of peanuts, the amount that fits comfortably in your palm, 10 to 11 raisins, no more, no less. This is balance, not abundance. When taken in this way, the body is nourished, not overloaded. The wisdom of moderation is older than any laboratory, and it remains unshaken. The fourth key is method. Some prefer to eat them slowly, savoring each bite. Others blend them into a paste with water, smooth and easy to swallow. Some mix them into a morning salad. Each path leads to the same destination as long as the rules of soaking, timing, and portion are honored. The choice is personal, the effect universal. There is also caution hidden within this golden rule. Those with allergies must respect their limits. Those with chronic conditions should listen to their bodies and seek guidance. Nature offers gifts, but wisdom guides their use. The power of peanut and raisin is profound, but only when embraced with mindfulness and patience. In following this golden rule, something subtle occurs. Fatigue begins to fade, sleep grows deeper, digestion steadies, and the mind clears. The body feels lighter, not because of magic, but because the simple laws of nourishment are being restored. Day by day, the quiet strength of these foods accumulates, like drops of water carving stone, until one morning you wake not with heaviness, but with renewal. And so the secret is not only in the foods themselves, but in the discipline of how they are used. Simplicity, timing, preparation, and moderation. This is the golden rule. Keep it, and the treasures of strength and vitality will not remain locked, but will flow into your life with quiet certainty. If the secret of peanut and raisin is so simple, why do so few embrace it? The answer lies not in the foods themselves, but in the way we perceive value. Modern culture is drawn to what is rare, expensive, and wrapped in complexity. We believe that the higher the price, the greater the power. In this pursuit, we overlook the quiet treasures resting in our kitchens, mistaking their simplicity for weakness. There is also the influence of markets. Supplements, tonics, and treatments flourish because they promise quick results, and quick results sell. Yet nature rarely works in haste. Its methods are gradual, subtle, cumulative. The steady renewal that comes from two humble foods cannot compete with the glitter of promises printed on bottles. And so the wisdom of simplicity fades into the background, known only to those who still listen to tradition. Tradition itself has been underestimated. In villages and families, the practice of soaking peanuts and raisins overnight was passed down quietly without grand explanation. It was habit, not spectacle. Modern science is only now confirming what intuition had preserved. But because this knowledge was whispered rather than shouted, it never captured the attention of the many. The irony is profound. People travel far, spend heavily, and search endlessly for solutions, while the answer sits silently in a bowl of water on a kitchen counter. This is why so few know the secret, not because it is hidden, but because it is too close, too ordinary, too modest for our restless eyes to see. And yet, those who do discover it begin to understand a deeper truth, that the extraordinary often hides in plain sight. That power does not always come wrapped in mystery, but sometimes in the simplicity of two small foods waiting to be acknowledged. At the end of this journey, the truth stands clear. Strength does not always come from distant cures or costly treatments. Sometimes it rises quietly from what has always been within reach. A handful of peanuts, and a small cluster of raisins, soaked in water and taken with patience, can reshape the way the body feels, thinks, and heals. They do not shout, they do not dazzle, yet their power is undeniable. What makes this secret profound is not only the nutrients they hold, but the reminder they carry, that health is not given by chance, but cultivated by choice. That energy is not lost forever, but can be restored through simple discipline. That renewal begins not tomorrow, not in some far place, but in the quiet ritual of today. If you choose to walk this path with consistency, fatigue will soften, sleep will deepen, and the lightness of youth will whisper back into your days. The body will remember what it means to thrive. And as you hold these two humble foods in your hands, you may realize the greatest treasures are often the ones that hide in plain sight, waiting for you to see them. So let this be your invitation, to embrace the simple, to honor the ordinary, and to trust that within the smallest gifts of nature lies the silent power to renew your life.